broken, and the other half are a little not so great, your leader potential is not going to look so good. So the goal here is filling the top of the pipeline, of the funnel of the people who come into the organization. And what do we do about keeping the best ones? Now, I'm going to stand, I think, over here, so am I going to block your view if I over here, does it matter? Anyone know? Okay, good. So I'm making a few assumptions here. One, talent matters. Fair assumption? Organizational, and two, organizational leaders actually believe that talent matters. By the way, that's a big part of your job, is to convince them that talent is a critical competitive advantage. If they don't believe that, then HR is just sort of a paperwork, tactical job, right? Second, organizational fit is important. People who work at Google, even though they're really great at writing code and software, etc., and maybe super smart, may not necessarily be a good fit at Coca-Cola or the NSA or other organizations, because every organization has its own sort of culture and values, and someone who fits in at IBM may not fit in so well at the typical railroad. Fair assumption? Okay, job fit. We all have different strengths, capabilities, skills, abilities, knowledge, technical experience, etc. Doesn't mean you're a bad person if you don't fit for this job. Someone who's a great middle-level manager for an operations role probably isn't going to be the best marketing executive. It's just a completely different skill set and capability set. Okay, so we all agree? Good, okay, now that we're all talking about the same thing, now that we know that, what do we do to try to get the right people on the bus, our organization, and then in the right chairs? Because you could hire fantastic, amazing people, put them all in the wrong seats. Like imagine if 50% of your corporate staff all did a round robin and changed roles. You're no longer going to be in finance, you're now going to be in human resources. You're no longer being human resources, congratulations, you just got promoted to operational leader in this plant in New Jersey. If you don't have the right people in the right jobs, things get very complicated very fast. Yes, there's value in rotating people around so they have a better understanding of the view, but ideally, the right people in the right organization in the right roles so they're going to be able to leverage their strengths. Quick poll. What approaches do companies typically use? Maybe not your company, it's okay if you don't want to admit what you do in your company. The companies typically use to try to find good people. This is the audience participation section. Job fairs, thank you, right? Monster.com or other career websites, right? Anyone have a careers page on your corporate website?
Yes.
Raise your hand. Right. If you don't, raise your hand. Like almost everyone does these days, right? It's pretty common. Do anyone go to universities and try to hire recent graduates or MBAs, etc.? Yeah, very big way of doing it. Anyone else? What do you do once you got people applying? How does that process work? Anyone use an applicant tracking system? Yeah. Phone interviews? Resume checks? Drug testing? Background screens? Pre-employment tests? Thank you. Anyone do interviewing? You know that crazy thing where someone who's a hiring manager who knows nothing about HR sits across from the employee, future employee, and tries to determine whether they're going to be a good fit? You know that? Yeah. Isn't that the one we use the most?
Yes.
Yep. Because we know that our hiring managers absolutely know how to do good interviews, right? Okay. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. Does this sound familiar? Organizations trying to bring in the best talent always struggle with one or two problems. We have endless amounts of people applying for our jobs. We're Google. We get bombarded with zillions of applicants. Or we've got a job and it's like finding a needle in a haystack. We just can't get the right people, or we don't get enough of the right types of people. I'm going to tell you a little secret. I have a client. I'm not going to mention a name. Big corporate big consulting company. You would definitely recognize the name if I mentioned it, so I'm not going to say it. They've got university campus recruiting, graduate recruiting going on. They go to the best and brightest schools, hire the best and brightest people from various majors and specific little universities that may not be Ivy League but are obviously very competitive. And they get lots of people applying to the jobs. One particular group in the organization, for whatever reason, very similar job, got very few applicants. They would like to take the people who didn't get hired from the other groups, who didn't necessarily meet the criteria, to interview them. And the HR person's calling me saying, what do I do? My client is telling me they want to hire the people that everyone else basically turned away. So sometimes within the same organization, the company is very attractive, but the particular role isn't for some reason. They just can't seem to get the right people. Is it that the job's just horrible? No, it's actually quite comparable to the other jobs. They're just not sourcing properly for that role. How do you bring people into your organization? What do you normally do to draw people into your company? Why do they come work for you? Benefits? Reputation? Absolutely. Google gets bombarded with applications. Google has said, we don't even know why people are coming to us except that we have such a big brand. It's amazing. They get insane amounts of applicants, and there's no way they can sort through all of them realistically and review them all, right? So how do you get people to come into your organization? How do you get them interested enough that they want to apply? Well, one of the things that we've done in my organization is we've actually helped to improve the engagement of the people before they're applicants, right on the career website. This is sort of a new trend in hiring and selection. Companies generally aren't doing it. It is a self-assessment tool where they go through a quick little questionnaire that just asks some critical questions that you would normally ask in an interview that would be knockout questions, and also sort of organizational values fit questions. That the candidate gets to kind of play this little quick game of 5, 10, 15 questions and find out more about the company and about the job before they ever even consider whether to apply or not. They're just curious. It's sort of fun. So, anyone here of Sunglass Hut? Luxottica is the parent company. Now, Sunglass Hut, basically the business model is they have these little kiosk stands in malls primarily, and there's 2 staff manning it, and there's these nice, beautiful sunglasses on these racks, and people are constantly walking by. Most of the hires are, hourly employee types, a lot of transitional working. It's quite seasonal. So their goal is to get people in, get them training, get them on the job long enough that it's worth having hired them and trained them, right? Because there's lots of turnover in this kind of a job. Part of the problem is people think this is really cool. It's a neat job to work in a mall and have you selling really nice sunglasses, etc. But did you know that part of your job as someone who's a Sunglass Hut employee is to constantly monitor the stands to make sure no one's stealing them? So, wouldn't you want to know, before you get too far down the hiring process, how do you feel about having to approach someone who's possibly about to steal a pair of sunglasses and stopping them before it happens? Well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have those kind of hard conversations with someone I don't know. Because you're like, well, if you don't want to do that, you can't work here. We should never have gotten this far down the process of interviewing. So why not ask a series of questions about, do you like sunglasses? Do you about organizational culture and fit? Do you mind working on weekends and holidays, which is when most of their business is? Do you, these sort of things. Because if they're going to say, no, I would never do that, because I don't like to work on weekends or holidays, or no, I would never want to tell someone to stop, let go of the sunglasses and step away, please, then you probably shouldn't work here. So these sort of tools are really neat. This is called a Realistic Job Preview, but it's an online questionnaire that's literally on the career site. And I'll show you an example in a second. One of our airlines is clients is one of the biggest ones internationally. It's one of these sort of discount airlines, very popular. And they have something called Try Before You Fly. And it's literally on their career website, and it's this Realistic Job Preview. They have 27,000 people per month participating in this online questionnaire. This is before they apply for the job. You're just on the career site, and they try it out. Before, a lot of those people apply. So what would happen? Their ATS system, Taleo, would get full of applicants of people who really should never even be spoken to, because honestly, they wouldn't like the job if you hired them. Now they take this questionnaire, and the questionnaire pleasantly encourages them, if they're a good fit, along the way as they answer the question. It gives them feedback. Oh, it's good that you said that you are fine working unusual hours or weekends or holidays, etc., because that's a big part of this job. And if you like sunglasses, then we think you'd probably really enjoy working here because there's lots of perks. You get discounts, etc., etc. Oh, you don't really think sunglasses are important, or you really can't work nights and weekends? We have other jobs, or there are other organizations where that may not be the case. That's perfectly fine, but you may not find that you like this job as much. And so it's literally gently encouraging and discouraging them to apply. So then they go through. They have 7,000 people per month apply. Look, 27,000 people take the questionnaire. They must be at least considering it or thinking it's a fun game, or they wouldn't try it, right? But now, only 7,000 people per month apply for the job. In the old days, there was a lot more people applying, and they'd get lots of junk into the system, the ATS, and then you'd have to sort. By the way, how many people have heard from friends or family, you've experienced it yourself? I applied for the job online, and they never even emailed me, like nothing. Well, if you reduce the number of people applying for the job in the first place, so those who actually might possibly be interested and might possibly like the job, who might, we think, fit and not get knocked out by our disqualifying questions, at least we're reducing it to people who are likely to be a good fit in the first place. This has had a great increase in terms of editing their suitability of applicants, meaning while the number of applicants has decreased substantially, they've increased by 40% the applicants who are applying. They're much better applicants. These are people who actually do want to talk to. And it's a fun, enjoyable, engaging tool for the applicants. Do you guys have anything fun and engaging on your website, careers page?
Nope.
Not at all.
Not at all. Great. This is, the airline is called EasyJet. You can go to their website, easyjet.com. It's a European airline, very similar to JetBlue or Southwest Airlines, something like this, okay? It's a pretty cool thing. Please, if you have 5 minutes, go online, play with it. It's really fun. It's called Try Before You Fly. Just go to the careers page. You'll see the links. Okay, enough about the attraction side. By the way, there's all sorts of attraction methodologies, right, that social media, et cetera, could be used to bring people in. Now imagine you have that little questionnaire on your website, not so complicated, custom to your organization, that actually helps you sort through best candidates. And then you promote that questionnaire through all the social media you do. Don't you think you'll draw a lot more people who might find it fun to your career site? Don't you think perhaps if I sent it to, I don't know, the National Association of Hispanic MBAs or Black MBAs or whatever engineers or whatever minority group you're trying to actively bring into the pool, how about you promote to those groups and start trying to improve diversity by bringing in people who actually are a good fit? Yeah? Because they probably don't even know that they should be applying. Now let's talk about hiring people, selection process. Typical sourcing methods, we talked a little bit about it before. Posting a job online, perhaps your career site, Career Builder, any of those sort of job boards, receiving many, many applications. If you have an ATS, it sorts through it somewhat on your own. If you don't, you're going through paper. I've had many very heart-to-heart conversations with HR people who say we have an Excel file and a stack of applications. And you know what? The first 25% of the stack gets looked through. And if we can find who we need, there we go. And what does that mean? If you're the person who applied most recently on the day they decide to look at the stack, your odds are much better. So what do I tell the applicants? Apply every day? Once a week? Just apply again and again and again? Is that what you want them to realize the strategy is? Here's the secret. Apply weekly to the jobs you really want, because sooner or later you're likely to get your resume seen. Not a good strategy to tell them. But that's sort of really what's best for them, right? Not a great deal. If you review the applications, you create the short list, okay, these are the ones we're going to actually have a phone call with, maybe you call references, and then you have an interview. Tell me, on your interviews that you currently do in your organization, not your hiring managers, let's just talk about the actual recruiters and HR folks. Do you have a set list of questions that every applicant for the same job gets each time?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Do you have a set scoring methodology?
Yes.
Yes.
A set criteria for what a good answer or a bad answer looks like? Right. These are all steps of structure. When I say unstructured interviews, I mean missing some of these elements. The more structured the interview process is, the less hiring managers like it at first, because it doesn't give them the freedom to ask all those crazy acid test questions that they think work real well, like what's your favorite football team, or if you were in this crazy scenario, what would you do, that they've made up because they've read it, or they've read online, they Googled it or something. But those structured interview questions and structured scoring methodologies and standardization about what good and bad responses are and anything else you can create to make more of a standardized process means that whomever does the interviewing is asking the same process. The candidates always get the same process. We're comparing apples to apples, so if I answer questions A, B, and C, I know the person I'm going against as another applicant is also asked those same questions, and you can compare across candidates to make sure you're looking at similar things. Very important. Did you know there's over 100 years of published research on best methods for hiring people and selection? Before I show it to you, I need to give you a quick stats lesson. Okay. Anyone know what a correlation is?
Yep.
Okay, good. So basically, it's a number from -1 to +1. The higher number, the stronger the relationship. Positive means that when one goes up, the other goes up. When that one goes down, the other one goes down. Negative relationship means they go in opposite directions. They repel each other. Okay? So, the use of umbrellas tends to go up when it is not a sunny day. In other words, raining. Most people don't use their umbrellas on really sunny days. Got it? Okay, so that's